We're back with fake Stephen King.
Fake, really, really resentful Stephen King.
Filthy undead on the wall. 99 filthy undead. If one of them filthy undead were to fall. 99 filthy undead on a wall.
He's a misanthropic Stephen King, who is also apparently a sharpshooter.
Well, he probably has had a lot of practice being stuck here.
Yeah, but who knows how long it's been since that shotgun has had any meaningful maintenance. And it's a shotgun. Those aren't exactly known for being accurate over long distances.
No, that's a lever-action rifle.
It is. I was wrong.
When it's already clear you're not making any kind of difference, a reasonable man might say, this isn't working. I gotta change things up. He would do things differently. Look for a way to...
Yeah, he's very critical of us. You'll see that in the next two briefings he gives. They're, very insulting.
But I write for a living. I make millions repeating myself. What's your excuse?
Do you think you get paid? I mean, we have to get paid, right?
I am assuming there's payment, but I'm also assuming that most agents don't have time to spend it on anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's entirely possible for you to purchase things and store them somewhere until you can pick them up in your rare downtime.
I get the feeling this is a lot like being not special forces. I don't know, something where you're constantly on call and never go home, like being a paramedic or something.
Well, I don't know. As far as I can tell, we don't get anything even vaguely like downtime over the course of this game. Also,
yeah, but this isn't kind of an emergency situation according to the lore.
Yeah, and also, most agents aren't bees like us. Like, there are only so many bees who are actively involved with any of the factions. Like, I don't think any of the people in the faction hubs, except for players, are bees. For instance, I could be wrong, but
You might be wondering, I think I'm going to mention this, but whenever I see an Innsmouth track and field, I shoot them because they have a lore drop.
Oh, and we're coming in on Innsmouth Academy. Or maybe not yet, but we're somewhere nearby.
Yeah, that's next video, but that's like a bulk of the missions in this area of the game world are at that academy.
Mm-hmm.
There's 8 missions there. 8 main missions, yeah.
I will never not be happy that we fight revenants with shotguns. It is true to the trailer after all these years. Revenant's lore.
But yeah, you're looking at pretty much what all of the non-investigation missions he has are. Go somewhere, shoot something. Though I do have to wonder about part of this. Part of this mission that we'll see later. Ah, Resurrection Joe. He's an optional boss fight. To kill Resurrection Joe, you must have unlocked all of this whole area. You must have unlocked all of New England. Hidden throughout the 3 New England zones are body parts. A head, a torso, and 4 limbs. Once you get all of those, you go to the graveyard in Kingsmouth and activate them, and then a boss will spawn. Do not try to fight him without a party. You will lose.
Does he have relevant lore, or is it just... Well, I mean, obviously
Yes, he has
does.
one piece of lore. Yes, he has the final zombie lore.
Aha. Alright. So yeah, I'm willing to assume he's not going to show up in this LP then.
No. I mean, I'm not going for 100% lore completion, and even if I did, that's too long, man. I mean, that's a lot of grinding and a lot of bosses and missions and just ugh. Yeah, that's not happening. Now the odd thing here is we collect 8 corpses, but we only use 3 of them.
Hmm. By the way, I just looked up the Resurrection Joe lore, and it's really boring. He was a big asshole, and it took them a while to kill him, and they dismembered him when he died just to make sure he stayed down. And that's it. Oh well.
Yeah, essentially he was just really hard to kill. They hanged him and he didn't die, and they shot him and he didn't die, and eventually they managed to kill him.
You know, I wonder how populous Solomon Island was. Because there's a lot of zombies running around here. I mean, obviously they're infinite spawning because this is a video game, but I wonder how densely populated it was when it was still, like, full of living people.
Not very. I think the implication is every zombie you kill just sort of
Just get back up.
resurrects.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can dismember them, but the pieces disappear, and then they just come back.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked a little bit about that before, but like from just a because these aren't like purely corpses; they're also manifestations of the fog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've never actually been up to Maine. I don't know what it's like up there. I don't know how dense the population is. Closest I have is, because I don't read any Stephen King, closest I have is just like some familiarity with New Englanders.
Well, the population density in Upper Maine is low.
Yeah. A little more experience with Vermonters, but they don't consider themselves New Englanders. Well, okay, that's not quite true, but Vermont and like Texas and Alaska are the only states in the United States that have independence movements. Vermont used to be torn between, I think it was New Hampshire and New York, who claimed it. And they kind of became independent during the Revolutionary War and told both sides to fuck off and got accepted into the Union as a state. And ever since they've been doing their own thing.
I can't wait till we meet Hayden Montag.
Yes, they are the Innsmouth people are really good.
Especially because one of them is literally just Carrie.
Yes. Well, okay, not kind of. Our outlook is very, very different, even if the circumstances are kind of similar. Oh, fun fact, spell there is just the word swell, as in swelling. So they're bulging, but the zombies.
Oh, I thought you meant swell like a swell of water.
Yeah, if I say swell, I think it's like this vaguely old-fashioned way of calling something good. But yeah, this is all Icelandic, and Old Norse, which are almost the same language. God, written Icelandic's really ugly. It's just very very letter heavy. You see Masonic Crescent?
Don't you love names like Suicide Bluff?
Yeah. Oh, did you know
Where do you live? Oh, I live on Suicide Bluff.
Yeah, that's... They have... And I just saw the name Masonic Circle out there. Did you know the Freemasons are now making their meetings open to the public? Because apparently membership's down so low, they don't really care anymore, and they're just letting people attend to see if they're interested, recruit them.
I did not know that.
Apparently, there's nothing interesting going on, just as people have been saying for years. Oh well.
I think we have a couple Freemasons on SA.
Oh, there's no way we
an Ask
don't.
Tell thread.
There's a what?
I seem to remember an Ask Tell thread about it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised. I think my grandfather was a Freemason.
Yeah, see that decomposing left arm? That's part of Resurrection Joe.
Ah.
Yeah, if you're playing this game, I recommend the Lorehound plugin, because it shows where all the lore is.
That's one of this game's biggest draws. So, is that? Oh, are those mannequins?
Those are flesh mannequins, yes.
Yeah,
Familiars, rather.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But yeah, it's too early to talk about them. That's Innsmouth Academy stuff. But yeah, we will be finding and fighting homunculi. I do love how being a bee makes you immune to fall damage. It's the little things that really make it wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know why it's canon that we don't take fall damage.
I think it's just because we're that good at everything. Why not?
That or they just didn't bother programming fall damage.
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that hard to program ball damage. Though again, I am not a programmer, so I couldn't tell you. I think it's just in character for for what are basically superheroes. Oh, do you think this one's gonna pop up like last time?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, and you're wondering, what's the theatrical backdrop for? There is a playhouse.
And I think it's in London because basically everything
Yes,
is in
it
London.
is. Yeah, it's in London.
This game really
Insofar as
likes
I'm aware,
London.
the only thing that's in Seoul is a fight club, and the only thing that's in New York is cosmetic changing.
I think there are also some rare vendors in New York you can't find elsewhere. Not much.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Seoul is. What's the meme? I've seen a meme going around recently that's like somebody asking somebody else on Tumblr things to do in LA, and the response is leave. And that's kind of the attitude Seoul takes to you.
Well, the most recent thing I've seen going around isn't something I want to talk about in this LP. It's the Chris Chan thing, and I don't want to think about that.
Yeah, there are plenty of memes that are going around and doing dumb things. So I don't even. Wait, Chris Chan, as in.
Yeah, he did something really heinous and got arrested.
Like, as in CWC?
CWC.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he did something real bad. Like,
Huh.
go to prison for a long time bad.
Last I heard, he was actually a she and transitioned. And was in like a court thing.
Sorry for misgendering, but he did something really bad that I'm not going to say on air.
I was not aware of this, and now I will think of it no further. Anyway, so yeah. Lighthouses. I swear I had a piece of Lighthouse trivia, and I've completely forgotten it, so there.
Most lighthouses are currently automated. There are no more lighthouse keepers, really.
Mm-hmm. I think there are a few people who own private lighthouses, where they just want to be alone forever and live only through an internet connection to that. But, like, also with GPS, they're just not as useful as they once were. Though they are still useful, because no matter how much it's always useful to have a reference point for the shore in the middle of the night.
You love evil. You don't run from it. You don't try to avoid it. You welcome it. You crave it. You invite the pain and you cherish the suffering. You dive right into the filth and you make no attempt to wash it off. And when you finally climb back out, it doesn't matter how bad it smells, how the stench and the taint cling to you. You just can't wait to dive back in. Like a dope fiend hankering for a fix, you don't want it to ever end. You need it. Your entire identity, your raison d'etre, is at stake. Think about it. Who would you be? What would you be without this? Without your precious war on evil, without your secret world, your sacred brotherhoods, your ranks and titles and rituals, you'd be just another rat stuck in the race with a dead-end job, living for a paycheck and the weekends. One long booze-soaked downhill slide towards the dark and cold grave.
I feel like he's talking to the player here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously.
That it's good.
But, you know.
You soak in it so others don't have to. You take one for the team. You bend over and spread your legs and let the darkness inside. And somehow you justify it all with Utilitarian pragmatism. You're a bona fide American hero.
We were recruited in London.
Get the hell out of here. Go find an abyss to
I don't know,
jump
were
into.
we?
Go
I don't know.
soak
They may have
yourself
just given
in
us an
guilt.
invitation.
No, we're Templar. They gave us an invitation.
Maybe you'll
I mean,
see
obviously.
The other two
you'll
just
finally
The other two
High
get kidnapped,
chapters.
but like, do you think that we were in London when we got that, or we were just anywhere in the world and somebody else showed
anywhere
up?
in the world.
Yeah.
From page 1.
Don't some Stephen King novels end with like people surviving?
Yeah, this is all about
Yeah.
his fake novels.
Yeah, he's.
Which all seem to parallel something that's really happening here.
Mhm. There's a whole thing about him. It is in a very Stephen King. He's met a very Stephen King fate, which we'll get into as it unfolds over this update. But I want to take that speech, and you know how people on the forum will quote posts and go paragraph by paragraph trying to dissect it. I want to do that to that rant. So that there's so many assumptions in there that even though I know it's just sort of something for entertainment instead of something anyone actually cares about, it's just that kind of cynicism never sits right for me for like pragmatic reasons. Like, I don't know.
I just like I was just sitting there like, so you want me to not fight the evil?
Yeah.
Like, you want me to let the zombies eat the people? Like, I don't understand your point here.
I think he's just kind of going. He's saying that he's telling us that we think we're better people than we are, and I'm a millennial. I don't think I'm as good. I don't think I'm a. What kind of high opinion of ourselves do you think we have? Actually, you know what? Let me put it this way. Just because you're shoved into something doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning. And he seems to think that, like... Oh no, that's not a good way to approach it. Ugh. I'm going to be thinking... This is the sort of thing I'm going to be stewing on. Like, I'm not really angry about it, but I do just... I'm just grumpy about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's fun as a level 50 coming back to New England because nothing attacks you. Because you're such a high level, nothing bothers because you kill them all in like 1 or 2 hits.
You just walk up to mini bosses and stare them down.
Yeah, I've done that.
I do like... MMOs are really good for weird screwing around like that. I think I've mentioned here before that for weeks after I stopped actually playing City of Heroes, I'd log in and fly around with my character for like 20 minutes. And then just sit down on top of another building and log out. Or go mountaineering in World of Warcraft. It's they make something that's really big and has a bunch of different, like... It's the same with Bethesda games. Like, have you... I don't know, have we... You've taught... I think you've played, like, various... You mentioned you played New Vegas, I think. Like,
Yes.
Have you played the Bethesda... Elder Scrolls and the Fallout games?
I have played Skyrim, and I used to own Oblivion, but I never played it very much
Yeah.
because Oblivion's terrible.
I don't know. Oblivion's really generic, which is really unfortunate. Elder Scrolls lore is, how do I put this?
Batshit insane.
What? It's insane. There is a point in the game's backstory where a bunch of religious extremists inspired by a monkey danced on top of a tower to take the elf out of their favorite god, and that caused time to break. In 10 years passed in 1,088 years, and people gave birth to their grandparents and fought wars, died, and then woke up and fought the same wars, and that ultimately ended up discrediting the dominant military government at the time. So, where three people tried to be the trickster gods. So, actually, wait, no, let me wind up. There was a time in late in the during the creation myth where the gods drove their spaceship into reality as a way of anchoring it together. They put the trickster god on trial, dismembered him, and threw his body into orbit, where his flesh formed two moons. Then they stuck his heart on the end of an arrow and fired it across the continent, and its impact site raised the game world's biggest known volcano. And this is all canon, and it's all like that particular story ends up setting up the plot for Morrowind and Oblivion in all kinds of ways. It's wild. I really like it, but also I like Bethesda games, but for very different reasons, because they're just. Do you have? Almost everyone I've talked to who's played Skyrim has a favorite glitch. Do you?
No, not really.
Huh.
Most of the glitches I encounter are corrupted saves, so
yeah.
they're not really favorite glitches.
Yeah, that's a shame. I've never had a corrupted save, but I have had for Skyrim. Once I was mining up in near Dawnstar, I think, and I'd hired a mercenary as a companion. It was a guy who complains how old he is all day, and his model clipped onto the edge of my pickaxe. So for several seconds, he was riding my pickaxe during the mining animation, just up into the air, no selling it, reading one of his canned "I'm so old" lines. It was so surreal. It was so surreal. I didn't think to take a screenshot of it until it was almost over, because it took me that long to process it. I got the game after the giants hitting you with a hammer and sending you into the stratosphere, or putting buckets on people's head and taking everything they own, or killing somebody and the chicken calls the cops on you. That was all before my time.
Mm.
The fact that chickens could call the cops on you was just wonderful.
Yeah, I never encountered too many of those weird things happening.
And they're rare. It's one of the things, they're actually really rare. It's just they stick out in your memory when they happen to you. It makes them seem more common than they really are. I'm just thinking, I'm looking at this guy. I know somebody who's descended from the American Revolution Hessians. And apparently one of them, after the Revolutionary War ended, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Hessian mercenaries.
After the war ended, a lot of them were ransomed or just let go. One of them decided to stick around, and he settled down in New Jersey and married into the local population. And his descendants to this day have the surname Flesher, as in the German word for butcher. I free associated that. It's true, but first thing came to mind when I saw the word Hessian.
Oh, you're gonna love the investigation mission we do next.
Mm.
You ever wanted to remember an entire ISBN number as a password?
Oh God. Look, God, at the end of the last area, I think we talked about how you can hit a point where your password's so inconvenient you end up creating vulnerabilities just to keep track of it. I think that remembering an ISBN number is that past that point.
Yeah, that's coming from the house, and I have no idea why.
You think it's that thing?
I don't know.
Nope.
No, I think it's something from inside the house that's supposed to be creepy.
Danger of a horror game is that if people aren't frightened by it in a video game, they can go investigate, and then it's just like seeing the movie monster head on in the light is always less scary than you were hoping it was.
If I could recommend a horror movie,
Yeah.
In the Mouth of Madness, starring Sam Neill. That is a phenomenal horror movie.
Is it the tension kind or jump scare kind?
Tension.
Mhm.
I mean, just the ending alone. Oh my god, the ending is so good.
We may curse heaven for our fate, but hell is a device of our own construction. The Ebony Tower.
The Ebony Tower.
Yeah, of course.
Times bestsellers list, 5 weeks running. We are the architects of our own destiny. There's no innocence, only ignorance. Nobody could ever accuse me of empathy, of genuinely caring for people. In fact, they'd probably say that Sam Krieg is a cold.
It's funny, I hear the opposite about Stephen King.
They'd be right.
Yeah, so Stephen King is supposed to be just a really nice, cool dude.
Yeah,
The acts of people.
At least since he stopped drinking.
and doing a lot of coke.
The consequences of those actions.
Honestly, he should do coke again. His best novels were when he was on coke.
Every book I
Never say that to an artist. We'll tear your throat out.
I know, I'm just joking.
God,
do to deserve their fate. I tell you, they were evil. Kingsmith, Solomon County, pure evil, all of it.
He says as you see the amusement park in the background.
Always was.
Given the amusement park.
Stepped off the boat and set forth on these shores. There's a dark
Pilgrims were further south than this, though.
Of the Labor Day barbecues, homecoming parades, and maple syrup. I should know. The deeper I dug, the darker the hole, the more I found. A goddamn abyss of foreshadowing. I've seen evidence of acts so cruel and demented, so twisted and sick, right out there, that people might confuse them for one of my...
Truth is stranger than fiction.
And if you've read any of them, and I'm sure you have, you'd know that this place has blood on its hands, and plenty of crime to its name.
I think we figured that out at this point.
Yeah,
On the mantelpiece in the first act, before the curtain goes down, it's going to blow someone's scrotum off.
I'm not sure Chekhov would agree with you on that.
Upon the wicked shall fall a rain of fire and brimstone.
No, I think it's fair. I mean, the moment the the priest was like, so the unsanctified soil means unsanctified soil, mass graves,
Mm.
and I'm like, okay, most places don't have mass graves.
As we're learning right now, and another thing we probably shouldn't talk too much about, there are more mass graves than people would think.
Yeah, but we get to the Native American part of it next area.
Yeah, that's a few updates away. Like 4,
There's
maybe?
a couple Native Americans in this part that we get as like a prelude, but yeah, the next part is the Wabanaki. Now I kind of derp around for parts of this quest, mostly because I think I know where I'm supposed to go, but I don't.
Happens to all of us.
But what you're supposed to do is listen to this GPS and backtrace.
Please exit onto a mapped road. Continue eastbound for 200 yards and take the second exit. Prepare to turn right. Turn right and follow the road for 500 yards.
See, I remembered what house the dude's in, but I don't remember exactly where I'm supposed to be going. Because this is the house he's in.
Prepare to turn left.
Or at least the house you need to get into. See, there's a keypad.
Turn left.
But,
Navigation is paused.
yeah, we're just gonna do some side quests that are still in the area. Including the very last, side quest involving the League of Monster Slayers.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
thank God. Technical difficulties are the bane of LPs.
Yep. But, yeah, we're gonna do that very last quest involving the League of Monster Slayers, where we hunt for their hidden weapons.
And you know, they had a lot of information they really shouldn't have. That was they did some. I don't like. I think we disagree on how much monster slaying they actually did, but at the very least, they were very well informed.
Oh, yes. They were definitely well informed, but, yeah, we're gonna disagree on how much monster slaying a bunch of preteens did.
I mean, this is in this setting, in this place. I would not be surprised if this had an death toll among kids. Just fight with, except in this case, they also get to fight back and maybe kill them occasionally.
I can accept that. And now I'm like, is there another basement somewhere around? Because I know I had to go to a basement.
You just,
And at this point, I give up and Google it.
it's. Have you been watching the Olympics?
No.
I haven't either. I just don't have. When I was a kid, I used to be one of those nerds. I looked down on sports people. And that's gone now, but I'm just not interested. except for curling.
Yeah,
Curling,
I'm
I actually
not
like
interested
curling.
in sports at all. He looks so happy to be with his fan.
Yeah. It helps that it looks like they're drawn in two separate art styles just on top of each other.
I seem to remember there being a revenant boss if you disperse those birds, but
Some Easter eggs don't actually. There aren't actually there. You know. Do you think that Sam's actually looking at after the lighthouse, or is it just automated?
I think it's just automated.
Yeah.
He's just hiding in there. And now I actually write down the ISBN number because I'm not fucking Googling it again.
It doesn't hurt that their web browser kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It has no functionalities. It's just here, Google the answer.
Yeah, you have to enter that entire ISBN number.
God.
So here's a pause while I get a pen and paper, or rather a receipt I had on my desk.
It's a really long code for a pad. Oh, just one part of it.
No. It's the code for the PC in here. Do you think the various B agents of the conspiracies are like friends because they all go to Agartha?
I think it's very much a person-to-person thing. Do you mean like within or between or both?
I mean, within Agartha, I don't think there's fighting.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, I think it's like disallowed. Like,
Yeah, it's not a PvP zone.
I mean,
But I'm talking, in canon. Do you think they actually get along, or is it like how much do they buy into the whole?
well, let me put it this way. I know that the Templar, Illuminati, and Dragon Handlers, like Sonic and their equivalents elsewhere, play poker every Sunday. And that's canon, by the way. So there's and they talk about when they have faction fights these days over territory. They just send in bees who die in droves and respawn and don't care, and they could directly compare it to football matches. So I think that the rivalry isn't particularly fierce, especially with the filth stuff going on. I'm willing to bet that there are a lot of bees out there who just do whatever and hang out with their friends.
And now we are doing a side quest because we've done all Sam Krieg's missions. We're gonna go and open the safe of the League of Monster Slayers. And look, did you see down there?
Another player?
There, another player with their pet out. I never understood the point of pets. I don't think they actually do anything.
Some people just like the way they look. I think in that case that player just really wanted to have a dog. And now they do.
It's a dog in a bee outfit, which you can only get from a cache, and you can only get cache keys either by buying them or being a patron.
Quick access inventory updated.
And none of these weapons are still there. All that's there are golems in each spot. So we're just going to be killing a bunch of golems, including the nastiest golem ever.
Looking forward to that one.
I don't think we ever fight a sewer golem like in Dogma, which is a great movie.
That sounds like that. Sewer workers are one of those, like, it's like garbage workers. They're paid higher than that skill level would normally be because it's job's so undesirable. Like, you can make a living wage off of relatively simple work as like a garbage truck driver, just because it's so unpleasant.
And now we have to fight an insect golem.
Oh, oh god!
Look at it.
I'm trying not to, but you know, I have a thing about I cannot stand insects.
Yeah, that would probably be your worst fear is an insect golem.
Honestly, my worst fear is being in space and getting going like extravehicular activity in space and having the cord severed and just floating and helplessly to my death. That is the scariest thing I can imagine. But
Well, I think that's true for everyone.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think there's a person on Earth who doesn't have that fear.
But it's
like you describe that situation to someone, and someone will go, "Yeah, that's terrifying."
Yeah. I mean,
that was all of the tension in what was that movie?
one movie? Yeah, I remember that. I could not watch the trailers for that movie or the commercials for it. I had to turn my head away from the YouTube ads because I just could not look at it.
Which is a shame because it's a good movie. I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to things that get under my skin, like right now, there's a very good LP of a RPG about anthropomorphic insects, and I've seen it. I liked what I saw. I wanted to read more. But the visuals, even all cutesy and like less buggy.
Oh, you're talking about Hollow Knight.
Yeah, what? Sorry.
Hollow Knight.
I could not stand it. I couldn't take it. It just got under my skin too much. Oh, hey, Venetians.
I like my reaction there. It was like, what? Please stop shooting me.
But yeah, it is. It's a Phoenician shot you. Oh well. It's almost completely irrelevant to you.
Not only because it did so little damage, but also because I'll just come back.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I doubt that the Phoenicians have briefed their agents on this. I don't know. I don't even know what kind of hierarchy the Phoenicians have or command structure.
Yeah, we know very little about the Phoenicians.
I know that I don't think they're all at all centralized. Oh, and game.
Well, technically they are centralized. They have the floating city or whatever.
Real quick before we dodge back to that, I think we just saw something. I just remembered that the game did that I liked, where they'll have quests that automatically take you into different areas as you finish them, and that it crosses over and they can go between
Mhm.
You go,
Yeah, it leads us around.
Yeah. and it isn't just. If I remember right, it's not just linear. There will be quests and areas that will take you to like Peter Dodson, another white bread name for this place, but there'll be a quest that leads you from one area to another, and then a quest that will lead you from that area to the original one if you find it, which is very nice from an exploratory perspective.
Faction rank increase. Congratulations, Artisan.
Excellent work. Never forget that this is a show of arms, and the onus is on us to be the iron fist in the iron glove.
Not sure how that's how the saying goes.
Yeah,
Richard.
I think you got. I think he was trying to play it up for emphasis, but it just did not work out.
And as soon as we get to the academy, we are automatically enter a mission cutscene. So we'll be seeing that.
Yeah, the Phoenicians. Actually, it looks like we're almost done. We have just a couple minutes left. So,
Yeah, what we're gonna see next is just the opening cutscene of an academy mission that automatically starts when you enter the area, and then it'll be over. And the next video will be very long because I'm going to do all the academy missions.
there's another Wendigo.
And I can't read that for the life of me.
I could not either.
No handshakes, please. Body temperature makes
But don't worry, you're not interrupting a parent-teacher evening or now. I'm the witch doctor in residence. It's my lot to teach the kids responsibility over the balance of life and death, given and taken. So this has really pissed the curriculum up a wall.
It is a great, great setback for us all. Loss of life.
That's Hayden Montag. He's my favorite character.
Questions.
I appreciate the pep talk, HJ.
The last time Mr. Montag gave me a pep talk, I had nightmares for the rest of the semester.
Anyway, you may already have run into some of the students' familiars out there. They look a fright, but, well, think back to your first shop class projects and how they turned out.
I like that analogy, actually.
Kids around to control them.
To the secret world, shop class is just assembling a familiar, a homunculi.
I wish there was a
And having when it turns out expectably terrible, yeah, that's what happens.
Rebound from the vertebrae.
From experience?
I like how he's like, you should use a shovel. A fire axe, no good.
All right, I think the video's almost over. Thank you guys for listening.
The video's over. Thank you for watching.